Hi, welcome to Modern Sage Comics. My name is Gene.
And I'm Kiyoshi.
Today we'll be going over Powers of 10 number 1, written by Jonathan Hickman.
Art by R.B. Silva.
Stay tuned. What
What song is that?
I don't know.
So, again, welcome to the channel. If you haven't seen our first episode, what we kind of do on the channel here is do a light overview / review / discussion of the comic books we're talking about. So, if you haven't read the comic book...
There will be spoilers, so if you haven't read the comic book, stop watching the video, or if you don't mind spoilers, keep watching and enjoy it. So we finally understand kind of understand what Powers of 10 means. Mm-hmm. They have that whole X to the 0 power, so we just replaced X with the 10. 10 to the 0 power, 10 to the first power, 2 and third power. Just looks like we're just going into the past, present, and future of the XMen.
And we did receive a lot of new information on the Hickman panels, so he might even kind of be like a clone of sorts. But we'll talk about what's considered the Chimera project in a little bit in the video.
All right, yes, let's get into the guts, man. Moira McTaggart and Professor Xavier meeting on this little park bench.
I don't know how they met originally in the comics, but I mean, it could still, like, that part could have been canon, per se.
Yeah.
But then what happens next is, of course, they're changing everything, so...
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Moira McTaggart... I'm not sure. This is all speculation. It looks like she's maybe coming from the future, or she's seen the future. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. I'd be really curious to know what other people think on this.
Now, in this book, I just wanted to make, like, a side note. A lot of this book... Like, a lot of the very interesting things were in the Hickman panels.
Yes.
And not so much in the comics. So, it's a lot of foreshadowing in the panels.
Yeah.
But, like, not very much content. So...
hey, it does bring us to the next part, though, of X1 to the 1th power.
Yeah.
Where it brings us back to the present, of House of X. And we actually get to see the aftermath of that whole heist with Mystique and Toad.
Yes. We didn't mention it so much in the last video. Kind of knew it was going to be important, but at the time it didn't really have any context at all. But we're getting a little bit closer, so it's worth mentioning now. It is going to have to do with something probably pretty important.
Yeah, well, I mean, it shows us going back to House of M, which is it's crazy. We finally get to see Krakoa Actual and Professor X. Apparently he has telekinesis.
Yeah, he's done it a couple small times in the comics. In, I believe, House of M, he did use it to lift himself up in his regular wheelchair into a ballroom. Which,
that's right. And he actually says that he does have telekinesis. But a very light.
Yeah, he says he compares it to, like, not as strong as Jean Grey, but he can at least do this. So, I mean, the memory stick is this small, so
yeah. But, man, I wonder what's on that memory stick.
So my guess is that it has to do with the Orcus project. That'd be my best guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm baffled at what might be on this thumb drive. If anyone else knows, let us know. So, on the next part, it takes us to X to the 2nd power, which is 100 years in the future. Right? And what we see is, it looks like a war has broken out between the mutants and the humans / machines.
Yeah, very Days of Future Past-esque. Shows the big sentinels in the air. There's actually some new forms of the sentinels on the panel.
3-headed sentinel. Crazy.
Yeah. Looks like it has... I don't know. I mean, in my head, I think it has like 3 separate personalities or voices. Yeah. In the panel, they do talk at different times.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they do.
I imagine there's 3 separate voices. One's probably like a little squeaky voice. And
yeah. However, as much as I wanted to see more of this Sentinel, freaking new character comes in and destroys it in one swoop.
Second new character.
Oh, second.
The first one's dead. So
the first one's dead. Second one is kind of getting captured. And then we get introduced to craziness. Rasputin.
So we've seen her on previews and everything like that. It's very nice to finally see her on the panels.
Yeah. And no one knew who she was. No one. Everyone was like, is this magic? Is this Colossus?
Yeah, is this some kind of incest baby?
Oh no!
Some Game of Thrones action.
Yeah. So it shows us a little bit of what where Rasputin's powers come from.
It does. So in the Hickman panel, it mentions the Chimera Project, or the Sinister Line.
Yeah, the Sinister
Line. Yeah, Sinister Line, the Mutant Breeding Project. So there were generations of mutants bred. First it was just mixing powers. Then they started, that was successful, it looks like they started just doing it for war.
Yeah.
But
the failure rate, I guess, went up. On this Hickman panel, it shows us the different powers of Rasputin.
They do. So the first power, it looks like in the DNA sequence, it's Quentin
Quire.
Yeah.
Kid Omega himself.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's abbreviated at the bottom, but you can kind of figure out what the abilities are. So it says TELE, which is, of course, telepathy. And then the next one is
the Metamorphosis of Colossus. It just says Rasputin, so I'm assuming it's Peter Rasputin.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where she gets her metal exoskeleton.
Yeah. It does. You know what? When I first saw her out of the metal, I thought she had diamond skin too. It kind of looks like, because her skin shines when she's not in metamorphosis.
They always show her as in. Well, so far they've only
no, because she metaled up when she was getting shot at, because they actually showed the lines.
Yeah.
So I think maybe.
Yeah, but she's still blue or a metallic looking skin.
I know. So I'm not sure. Maybe she,
because there's a cover that features her.
Or maybe since she's not pure metamorphosis. That's another thing, is they do show I think the power levels in the first section of the ability. So Quentin's is a 10, which is because he's Omega level, and then Colossus's was like an 8 for durability.
Like that.
But then when they go down to her, what she received in the D&E sequences is significantly less. So
it's roughly half.
Maybe she's metallic, but she has to metal up certain parts all the way to get the max durability.
Oh, okay.
So, which might explain the other abilities, because she does have quite a bit of redundant abilities as far as like defensive.
Yeah. So the next one is from Bane, who I didn't know who that was. I had to look that up
either. Yeah. So it's some C-list villain, I guess,
who has the power to create force fields strong enough to withstand blows from an enraged Hulk, which I guess that's pretty strong.
Yeah, but it's still just a force field, so I guess I don't know. Next power is, of course, Shadowcat.
Mm-hmm.
Shadowcat.
Her intangibility.
Yes.
Right, so I guess she can walk through walls.
Yeah, and then the last power is X23.
The healing factor.
Yep.
She has a healing factor.
Yeah, it is only 2. So, but I mean, when you're that durable, you can afford to sit and wait.
Yeah, and we don't know, like, on what level that means. Like, a 2, like, how strong is Wolverine's and how strong is Deadpool?
They do show another character, so altogether they showed 4 new characters. One of them's dead immediately on arrival. So I guess he's not important. His name, though, just in case he comes back later, it is Percival. He kind of looks like he's mixed with Elixir, who's an Omega level, but maybe. I mean, you don't know because he's dead. So, and then the next one, who's kind of useless in the panels,
is Cardinal. Now, I wonder if he is also, one of the sinister line of mutants, because Rasputin mentions that he was bred to be a coward, and she's not.
Yeah.
You know?
So the fodder line.
Yes.
So he's probably one of the first gens.
We don't see what his powers are. he plants some
Yeah,
seeds.
he does look like a red Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
But he never teleports. So I
Yeah.
don't even know if he can
Yeah,
teleport.
I don't know. We don't know what
He
his
did
powers
have
are.
the rapier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know what he does.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so they capture the other New Mutant, Silabel, who is a black brain telepath.
Yeah. They bring her to Nimrod.
Yes, Nimrod shows up.
We haven't seen him since, what, Days of Future
I
Past?
think so, yeah.
Right? And in Days of Future Past, he was like he was a real robot. Had no emotions.
Yeah, it's just
Nothing.
And then I mostly remember from the cartoon. He's just kind of floating straight up. He's like,
This Nimrod has a personality, even empathy.
yeah,
Like
So-
he even apologizes to Silabel.
yeah. So if they're still going to use the Days of Future Past context or continuity, Days of Future Past, we kind of looked it up. It was about 30 years in the future.
Yeah,
And then this takes place 100 years in the future. So that's past then. So it's probably like a better generation Nimrod. But it looks like the AI is forming like human-like traits.
yeah,
Like you said, empathy, compassion. Because as they're interrogating Salabel, you learn that she's actually a plant. They have what's called the kennels.
yeah. So the kennels were used to make hounds, and these hounds were used, to make mutants who hunt mutants. But it was a terrible plan.
Yeah, so Nimrod does apologize, which is interesting. He apologizes to her because he says it's a terrible plan. He said most of the mutants ended up defecting, and that he's sorry that even happened. So,
Yeah.
But they need the information she has, so they need to know what she's after. Which is funny because that's pretty much both of the comics, Powers of X and House of X. It's like, we're trying to get these things from this person, but they don't tell you what it is. So.
Yeah.
Next issue is supposed to be like a super big issue. It's
Yeah. I mean, that's what everyone is saying.
Yeah, so they'll probably
highlighted
say,
in red.
yeah, they'll probably say what everybody's been going after.
They show us finally some familiar X-Men faces.
Yeah, they do. So first days we see,
Wolverine. Can't bite it.
yeah, of
They
course.
have to put him in everything.
And he is, of course, in old man form. So he has the brown uniform, the classic uniform.
Yep.
With white beard showing out. He looks a little bit whiter, so
Yeah.
a little bit more swole. And then they do mention in another Hickman panel, about the last surviving mutants. So they're on their meeting after they go through the No Place on Asteroid K. That's a population of 10. They do mention there's about 10,000 mutants left.
Yeah. A bulk of them come from Benevolence, or are in Benevolence, which is I want to say it's a ship that is a buffer between the Shi'ar and the Brood breeding grounds. And then the other place
Is actually on the Shi'ar homeworld. So it looks like the queen or regent of the Shi'ar, Zandra, it does mention the name, is using them as soldiers.
And then it takes us to X to the third power.
I believe so. Yeah,
1,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
Right. And this one is, from what it looks like, I guess the mutants win this war. From what it looks like.
Yeah, and it shows a character whose blue skin looks very much like Professor X.
He even has a helmet.
Yeah, he does. So I think it's probably a clone of Professor X.
I don't know.
Or maybe Professor X just kept... I mean, knowing him, he probably just kept putting his brain into people.
Yeah.
So maybe he cloned himself and then put his brain in the new clone. But he's talking to Nimrod, who's still alive.
A new form of Nimrod.
Yeah, and they're in peaceful terms.
Yeah.
Nimrod...
And Nimrod calls that blue mutant the librarian.
Yes. Yeah, because they're in the mutant information, knowledge repository.
And then it closes off with, which is pretty crazy, they're looking into some kind of human preserve.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reminiscent of Adam and Eve.
It is, yeah.
They're naked.
naked. But yeah, at first I was hoping, I was like, oh, well, maybe one of them is Moira McTaggart, but it doesn't look like it. I was
it just shows like shadowed faces.
Yeah, so we don't even know who it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, really exciting stuff. I mean, they're just changing everything.
I can't wait to get to the next issue of House of X number 2.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting better and better.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then before we go off, I know last episode we talked about the Mutant Language.
Yes.
And they do have, one of the previews is the same as the last one.
The Curious Case of Moira X. And then on the next page, it says, then...
Hello, old friend.
In the Mutant Language. I love, this Mutant Language, even though it's simple and easy to figure out. I love it when I see more.
It is, yeah. We did get one new letter that I didn't have before.
We got P.
Yeah. Gene even has notations on the back of his comic here.
This is how I keep track of my Mutant Language.
I use my iPad because I'm a little bit more tech savvy. But yeah, it's fun, fun little thing to decode. I like that Hickman did it. So
yeah, and it's not too brain rapid.
Yeah, like the symbols are pretty easily identifiable.
Yeah. I can actually start reading it without looking at my notes.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
that's how bad I'm nerding out.
But
anyway,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of Powers of X number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a like. We'd really appreciate it.
We would. Subscribe.
Oh,
if you like
to our channel.
Subscribe if you like the content.
Hit the bell if you wanted to get up-to-date information on when we post new videos.
Yeah, we usually post the videos Monday night. Sunday we film.
Yeah.
Monday, during the edit, and then I try to post it the night of. So, probably every Monday.
Yeah,
we'll have a new video on Monday night. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So.
Let us know how you liked the video.
I liked it a lot.
So did I.
But yeah, let us know. In any case, thanks for watching.
See you next time.
All right.